Good morning, I'm Gretchen Ho. We're coming to you live this Thursday, the 11th of September, bringing Morning Matters because your mornings matter. Let's get to the stories that matter today. Sarah and Curly Discaya are unlikely to become state witnesses in the flood control probe. That's according to Senate President Tito Sotto, who stressed that their affidavit looks edited and their statements incomplete. House Speaker Martin Romualdez' spokesperson Ace Barbers has dismissed rumors of a leadership change. Barbers claim fewer than 10 lawmakers are pushing for the ouster, adding there is no reason for Romualdez to step down. And the Finance Department clarified that the 28 billion peso rural bridge project is being negotiated with France and not South Korea. A prior agreement with a South Korean fund was scrapped last year by the Department of Agrarian Reform due to technical disagreements. Welcome to our program, Morning Matters, where we talk about the issues you need to know for the rest of your day. Now, first on the agenda. Senate President Tito Sotto has refused to sign Senator Rodante Marcoleta's request to place the Discaya couple under the Witness Protection Program. More in this report.
This was Senator Marcoleta's letter to the Department of Justice asking that spouses Pacifico Curly and Cesara Rowena Sara Discaya be admitted into the Witness Protection Program. Dated September 8, the letter bore Marcoleta's signature, but notably, there was no signature from Senate President Tito Sotto. In an interview with 1PH's Sa Totoo Lang, Sotto said they cannot qualify as state witnesses unless they return what they allegedly stole and provide complete testimony. He also noted that their statements in the Senate and the House don't match, raising doubts about their credibility.
Umamin ka, ginakaw mo, balik mo lahat ng ginakaw mo, at tapos yung testimony mo, kailangan kompleto. Hindi kalahati. Ano, yung mga binabanggit ni Discaya at saka yung mga sinabi niya rito sa hearing sa Senado, iba mga sinabi niya no sa House. Pagkatapos hindi kumpleto. No, ba't ko naman pipirmahan niya, i-recommend ako mag-state witness? Sige nga, explica nila sa akin. Paano mo papayag?
Before this, the Discaya's lawyer admitted they were hoping to secure inclusion in the DOJ's protection program, insisting their clients were not being selective in naming officials allegedly involved in kickbacks from flood control projects.
Pero ang sentro kasi ng pagdinig natin sa Senado, sa House of Representatives through the TRICOM, ay yung pong nangyaring flood control anomalies from July 2022 hanggang itong kasalukuyang panahon. Meron ding time ni Ma'am Gloria, time ni President Pinoy, time ni Pinoy, Duterte, mas talamak nga lang ngayon. Okay. Noon, nagsusumbong sila, nagpapadyaryo. Wala akong selective memory rito. Wag ho nating ilihis, okay, yung laman ng affidavit.
The lawyer added that the couple had even reported their concerns to DPWH Secretary Bonon before, but were ignored. Still, the Discayas claim to have evidence, ledgers, phone numbers, and text messages of those allegedly demanding SOPs or kickbacks.
Sabi sa akin ni Sir, enough is enough. Sobra ng pagyuyurak sa pangalan namin, sa pamilya namin. Damay-damay na kung sino yung dapat madamay. Yung ledger na sinasabi ni Sir Curly, hinihingi na yung mga, porsyento. So, binibigay na lang kasi hinihingi. So, nililista lang nila yon. For example, ganitong araw. Hindi ho niya isasakripisyo yung buhay niya, yung pangalan niya, kung hindi niya kayang panindigan.
Earlier, Congressman Terry Ridon said the Discayas cannot qualify as state witnesses because they are not the list guilty. The DOJ has also clarified that they can only be considered if they return the money they illegally obtained. Meanwhile, Senate President Sotto also addressed questions over the custody of Bryce Hernandez, a detained witness. He said he allowed Hernandez to be brought to Pasay City Jail following the House of Representatives' request, noting that compromise is sometimes necessary in interchamber relations.
Kung hindi ko pinagbigyan yung request ng House of Representatives, kailangan namin si Mendoza. Sa kanila na, nakakontempt naman sa kanila. Sa tingin mo, bibigay sa amin?
Oo, kaya dapat
Sa tingin mo, pagka kami nag-request, hindi kami pagbibigyan ngayon dahil hindi ko sila pinagbigyan. Alam mo yun, alam mo, hindi lang ang politika, ang leadership, siyempre meron kang tinatawag na compromise.
Of course.
Pero ang importante rito, walang na violate na rules.
Senator Bato de la Rosa said he finds the testimonies of contractors Curly and Sara Discaya at the Senate hearing on flood control projects to be credible so far. De la Rosa, however, noted that the testimonies still require further validation. He also clarified that the Senate does not engage in intimidating or influencing resource persons. This is in response to issues raised over the custody of former DPWH engineer Bryce Hernandez. The senator added that it has become difficult to determine the truth as former Bulacan District Engineer Henry Alcantara and Hernandez seem to be pinning blame on one another in their testimonies.
Yung DA na si Alcantara at saka yung bagong DA na si Bryce Hernandez ay halatang nag-aaway, naglalaglagan silang dalawa. Mahirap na natin ngayon ma-determine kung sino nagsasabi ng totoo sa kanilang dalawa.
The Commission on Elections said Centerway's Construction and Development President Lawrence Lubiano will be issued a show-cause order after admitting he donated 30 million pesos to Senator Cheese Escudero's campaign in the 2022 elections. Lubiano will be given 5 days to respond, after which the poll body will also seek Escudero's explanation. In a message to reporters, Escudero said he would comply with whatever orders Comelec may issue, stressing he did not or had not violated any law. Meanwhile, the poll body is also investigating at least 52 contractors suspected of contributing to various candidates in the 2022 polls.
After po sumagot po yung mismong contractor, susunod po namin yung kandidato na ipagpapaliwanagin naman. At least po na-establish na namin na number 1 contractor talaga yan ng pamahalaan. Number 2, nagbigay talaga siya. Then let now the recipient be allowed to explain naman what is his explanation as regards the contribution or donation received by him.
News 5 went to a flood control project built by a contractor that Senator Panfilo Lacson has linked to former DPWH Secretary Manny Bonoan. Though finished only in 2023, residents claim the structure is already crumbling. Here is the report.
Very systematic, yung kanilang operation, from the time na mag-planning, pati yung design ng project, pati yung pag-bid, pati yung pag-implement.
Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong once again hit the alleged collusion among lawmakers, DPWH officials, and contractors involved in the flood control project mess. Magalong said there is a system starting from lawmakers conniving to choose who shall become district engineers in their areas, all the way to which contractors will be given the projects. He says this explained why almost every project bid already has predetermined contractors, and even the kickbacks have already been ironed out. The classic example, he says, are the Bulacan Group of Contractors or BGC boys that Senator Ping Lacson exposed.
Nakita nyo siguro yung nangyari doon sa BGC, Ang bilis, Kasi nga, they're just so comfortable. Yung ngayon nakakalungkot doon. Parang wala nang takot na gawin nila yon. Parang normal na sa kanila. Na pati yung documentation nila, very complacent sila na akala nila wala na makakahuli sa kanila.
Magalong adds, there are more similar syndicates out there in other districts. He also lashed out at Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldico, saying he's part of the syndicate. In his privileged speech Tuesday, Senator Ping Lacson linked former DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan to a major contractor, Candaba Pampanga Mayor Rene Maglanque. He alleged that Maglanque owned another company, MBB Global Properties Corporation, with Bonoan and another embattled DPWH official, Undersecretary Robert Bernardo. But then it was the Candaba Mayor's Global Crit Builder, which amassed more than 2.1 billion pesos in flood control contracts in Bulacan from 2018 to 2024. News 5 traced one of its projects in Barangay Marulas, Valenzuela. It's a flood control wall with an almost 20 million peso price tag. It's been marked completed since 2023. But residents keep complaining.
Pang nangyari po kasi, parang pinatong-patong lang nila. Hindi po talaga tinanggal lahat. Hindi siya maayos yung pagkakagawa niya kasi katulad nga niyan, tignan mo. Kailan lang ginawa, bitak-bitak na naman siya. Parang pinalitada lang.
We noticed a lot of cracks in parts of the wall. There were even portions where the cement has given way at the side of the creek.
Sila, lalo doon sa kabila, nagpalitada lang sila. Dito lang sa harap yung nakikita ng magbibisita. Yung likod, walang palitada. Tapos yung doon sa unahan, tibag-tibag yun. Tingnan mo, counting ng baha, bagsak.
News 5 has reached out to Bonoan, Maglangke, and Bernardo for their side on the matter, but have yet to hear back. Mobile journalist Mary Monreyes, we are One News.
And coming right up, the Department of Finance clarified that the 28 billion peso rural modular bridge project is being negotiated with the French government for financing and not South Korea. Let's discuss that and more with Senator Sherwin Gatchalian when Morning Matters returns. Keep it here on One News. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. Deputy Speaker and La Union Representative Paulo Ortega assured there is no shakeup in the House leadership. He said Speaker Martin Romualdez continues to run the chamber effectively with top House officials firmly backing him.
Maraming chismis pero sabi ko nga, chismis. Kibitzers, mga bulong-bulong. Pero as you can see, the House is one, the House is solid, and there is no change in leadership.
Meanwhile, Cavite 4th District Representative Kiko Barazaga said Romualdez should be the first to face investigation over alleged irregularities and flood control projects. Barazaga argued it is unlikely for the Speaker to have no involvement in such a large issue and urged him to attend the House inquiry. He also denied involvement in any plot to oust Romualdez.
I believe that if anyone should be investigated, the first person to be investigated is House Speaker Martin Romualdez because he's the House Speaker. I have some personal knowledge. I will not be elaborating that yet. I'd like Speaker Romualdez to also be involved in the DPWH hearings.
Several groups will stage a protest at the EDSA Shrine to condemn corruption. And for updates, we have a mobile journalist, Evan Tarinque, joining us via Zoom. Magandang umaga sa iyo, Evan. Kamusta dyan?
Gretchen, as of this moment, makikita nyo sa aking likuran, nag-set up na yung ilang mga grupo for their kilos protesta later this morning. No, magsimula ngayon around 9 a.m. and around 5 organizations nga yung mag-kilos protesta here at EDSA Shrine. No? Isa dyan yung Tindig Pilipinas, Nagkaisa Labor Coalition, Kalipunan ng Kilosang Masa, Siklab, and Pro-Demokrasya ng grupo. Gretchen?
So these are the progressive groups, tama ba ako?
Yes, tama ka dyan, Gretchen. No? And today, they will commence nga itong kanilang kilos protesta at 9 a.m. Magkakaroon din ito ng mass. So, para nga dito nga sa kanilang panawagan na agarang pagpapasimula ng independent commission, paglalabas din ng SALN ng mga nahalal na opisyal, lalo na yung mga nasangkot nga rito sa flood control issues. No, and yung of course yung panawagan nilang panagutin yung mga opisyal na sangkot naman sa korupsyon, Gretchen.
Meron ka naman mabalitaan na familiar faces that will be joining the rally?
Yes, Gretchen, no, today nakakuha tayo ng details, no. Ilan sa mga makita nating familiar faces here is Kiko Aquino D, ang convener ng Tindig Pilipinas, Kayla Meneses of Akbayan Youth, and of course, other kinataman ng mga Liberal Party, but currently wala pang official names na ibinibigay sa atin.
Kay Akbayan na ibig sabihin, maaari bang eventually makakita tayo ng senador dyan?
Yes, Gretchen, we're waiting for that, pero currently wala pa tayong naririnig na any senator or any government officials na darating for the protest this morning, Gretchen.
Actually, to be honest, this reminds me of the protests going on in different parts of the world, katulad na lamang sa Indonesia at saka sa Nepal, which hopefully will not lead to any form of violence. Pero napag-uusapan ba yun dyan? I mean, there have been calls to take it away from social media and actually put boots on the ground and have these protests.
Yes, Gretchen, what they want is magkaroon ng peaceful na protest. No, yan yung gusto nilang mangyari for these organizations. Pero kasi mga rumors o mga bali-balita na naririnig tayo na there will be a bigger protest na baka kalampagin yung ilang bahay ng mga ng mga government officials or contractors na nasangkot dito nga sa flood control projects. Pero we still confirming that information. No? Pero ngayon, what they want to do is magkaroon ng peaceful protest at yun nga, marinig yung kanilang panawagan for a transparent government. Gretchen?
Evad, gaano kaya katagal ito, ano? At hindi naman siguro magdudulot ng traffic dyan sa Ortigas?
Yes, Gretchen, currently, actually, ikot lang natin yung camera saglit. Ito lang yung kanilang play is here sa may ESO Shrine. No? So, itong part na to, hindi naman to dinadaanan ng mga sasakyan. No? So, basically, nasa loob sila ng shrine. Meron lang silang stage dito. Nakita natin, nakaset up na yung ilang speakers at microphone. So, basically, dito mangyayari yung kanilang protest at hindi naman sana lalabas dito sa part na to ng EDSA. Gretchen?
Okay, alright. Abangan namin ang mga kaganapan dyan mamaya. In the meantime, stay safe and we hope for a peaceful protest indeed. Maraming salamat. We have Mobile Journal Ivan Tarinque joining us from the EDSA Shrine. Senators are debating whether Sara and Curly Discaya should be considered as state witnesses. What exactly is the criteria for this? To answer that question, we have on the show former Integrated Bar of the Philippines President Attorney Domingo Cayosa. Magandang umaga sa inyo, Attorney.
Good morning, Gretchen. Magandang umaga sa nakikinig at nanonood sa inyong program.
Let's go straight to the question. After all the facts have been presented, the affidavit submitted, and seeing the context around those facts, what is your answer to that? Could the Discayas be considered state witnesses?
At this point, I don't think they would qualify as state witnesses. Number one, because they seem to be as guilty as the masterminds. They are major players in the crime. Secondly, and more importantly, it looks like their affidavits and their statements is not the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So it is wise and prudent for the Department of Justice and even the Senate to first vet out the testimonies of these people, because the Witness Protection Act also requires that whatever information or testimony they are offering in exchange for witness protection benefits should be validated or corroborated in its material aspects. Nagagawa yun. So I think it was premature for the former Blue Ribbon Committee chair to recommend them outright for witness protection benefits. Kailangan suriin muna ng mabuti yung kanilang sinasabi, because it's very obvious that they're trying to protect some people. They're only telling part of the story.
At yun nga ho yung hindi pinirmahan ni Senate President Tito Sotto dahil daw para sa kanya may suspetsa siya na inedit yung affidavit ng mga Discaya and we have to verify the statements. Kung sakasakali po ay yun nga po ang natagpuan nila, no? Na inedit ito, may undue influence on the affidavit. Does that disqualify them outright? Or could they somehow complete the story, tell the whole truth, fill in the gaps, which was probably the years 2016 to 2022 na walang pong nabanggit? In short, is it impossible for them to become state witness or konting remedyo lang ito?
I think it would still be possible for them to become state witnesses, but they should come clean. No? And that's the beauty of the law, because it's not enough that you just squeal partially and then you get the benefits. The Department of Justice will have to analyze whether or not you're sincere, and they will compare your statements with your previous statements. So maingat din, because maraming mga dating witnesses ng gobyerno na later on ay bumaliktad. Secondly, baka planted talaga yan at meant to acquit everybody later on in a criminal case, because if they've been saying inconsistent statements or they've been saying contrary things in other fora, in other statements, pagdating sa criminal case, a good defense lawyer will point out the inconsistencies and the testimonies will become incredible or conflicting. So maingat din ang DOJ. They really have to they have to present, for example, documents, ledgers, bank checks. They have to say what banks were used because these monies were withdrawn somewhere. Who did it? Who delivered? Kulang ng detalye. So they have to fill the gaps. They have to fill the gaps and tell the whole story regardless of who gets hit, hindi selective. If they do that, probably or possibly, they will be considered for the witness protection and security program.
Okay. Senator Tito Sotto also said, no, kapag, yung premise that should be established here, kapag nagnakaw ka, dapat aminin mo. Dapat po ba may ganong pag-amin? What are the inconsistencies here that you mentioned? Ano po nakikita po ninyo?
Well, unang-una, they omit very crucial aspects of their testimony. Puro salita lang eh. So, obvious ang gusto lang nilang hindi makasuhan and then they just give part of the story. So that's one, no? Secondly, they have to convince the Department of Justice and the courts that they are not one of the most guilty. So far sa ngayon, they're in the middle of all of these things. Yung sabi nilang pinilit lang kami, napilitan lang kami. That is not the pilit na contemplated by law. Ano ba, tinutukan ba sila ng... nagka-interest sila ng pera eh. Diba? So, that's not that pilit. You chose steal from the people for your own benefit. The fact that pinaghati-hatian nyo, pare-pareho kayong conspirators.
So, kailangan po may pag-amin of the fault done, that we
Of
did
course,
something wrong.
may pag-aamin naman na sila dun sa kanilang affidavit. Kulang nga lang yung kwento nila. They omit very crucial and important details. Hindi sila naglalabas ng mga documents, mga checks, bank accounts, and mga detalye. Sino nagbigay? Hindi naman sila. So, mga ganun, wala eh. So, parang it's obvious ploy lang na magsalita ng konti, magpasabog, and then wag nyo na kaming kasuhan, kakanta kami. They have to do better than that.
Okay, puntahan naman natin ho yung testimony ni Bryce Hernandez in the House where he actually presented evidence, but these are photos. What do you think of that, and what is the weight of those photos? In fairness naman to him, parang sinide by side po niya, may account siya, tapos naglabas siya ng litrato, tapos naglabas po siya ng mga text message, tapos may detalye, meron siyang konteksto, pero iba po yung pagpapaliwanag ni D.E. Henry Alcantara. Kahit pa paano ba, mas credible po yun kanyang testimony dahil parang may pagkwento dito ng mga ganap?
In evidence, in the rules on evidence, yung testimony na forthright, may mga detalye, may mga corroborating elements, may mga photos, may mga dokumento, mas credible yun kesa dun sa simple affidavit. Kasi yung simple affidavit, nakita naman natin sa mga nakaraang high-profile cases, bumabaliktad na lang sila ng bigla sa kahuli-hulihan, di ba? So yung pag may mga dokumento, may mga pictures, may mga detalye, mas credible yan. Plus, hindi mo na basta ma-erase yung mga documents, mga photos eh. So, at nalalagay sa konteksto at makita mo naman kung willing silang ilahad-lahat ng detalye, di ba? Pati yung sino ba yung nakatayo dyan, alam niya eh. So, that's the kind of thing that the mga Discayas kasi, they can't even remember. They made billions in a certain period. They don't even remember sinong kakontrata nila, sinong kausap nilang mga politiko. Incredible yung kanilang sinasabi. That's why I suppose yung DOJ, yung bagong Senate President, hindi niya kinagat yung ginawa ni Senator Marcoleta na kaagad witness protection ito. Nakakalungkot yung gano'n kasi pretty obvious may mga side deals na sila eh. Di ba? So, we have to be more discerning and be careful.
Okay. And in that light, do you think that Bryce Hernandez could be qualified to become state witness?
At this point, hindi pa. But it appears hindi siya yung galamay lang siya eh. Nauutusan lang. So, he was just doing all of these things, giving that us, inilalagay sa isang malaking opisina. Hindi naman siya yung number one na kaparte-parte. Siguro inaambunan lang siya. So, maari siguro siya in that aspect, maari kasi he appears not to be the most guilty eh. Meron siyang merong nakakataas sa kanya at hindi naman siya yung pumipirma ng mga approval, ng mga releases, tauhan lang siya. So mas malaking chance that he can be considered. Of course, he has to again say the whole truth and fully cooperate in all aspects of the investigation and the prosecution.
Okay. Could you remind us again how to qualify as state witness? Ano po ba yung mga conditions that need to be met?
One, under the law, under the RA 6981, the Witness Protection, Security, and Benefits Law, and Rule 119 of the Rules of Court, yung number one dyan, the testimony must be absolutely necessary. Meaning to say, in practical terms, you need the testimony or the evidence offered by this witness to nail down, to convict. So there's no other direct evidence other than what they are offering. Second, of course, it is required that the offense must be grave. Hindi pwedeng state witness ka kung simpleng banggaan lang. It should be a serious offense. The witness should not have been convicted of a crime involving moral turpitude. Why is that? Because if they want to be assured of your credibility and your integrity. Fourth, which is very important, he should appear not to be the most guilty among the most guilty. Kumbaga, galamay lang siya, ginamit lang siya. And then fifth, the testimony or the evidence that he's offering can be corroborated in its material aspects. So, ito yung 5 na minimum requirements before you are admitted as state witness and given the protection and the security and the benefits of a state witness.
And with that, looking at the whole chart, there is of course the DPWH here. We have their employees. We have the contractors, that side. We have our congressmen who approve the budgets. We even have our senators. 2 senators have been implicated here. Pagdating po sa ganyan, yung mga kataas-taasan ng kumare secretary o kaya senador o kaya congressman, sila po ba ay disqualified? Kasi kumbaga parang mataas na yung kanilang posisyon and they have power over everybody else. What are your thoughts on that?
Hindi naman niya nakukuha sa pataasan ng posisyon, Gretchen, it doesn't matter what your position is. Ang tinitignan nila, are you the key players? Kumbaga, without you, mangyayari ba yung krimen? So sa aking tingin, yung congressman na nag-mastermind, nag-insert, yung contractor, yung district engineer at the very least, or the secretary kung in-approve niya yan, kaya alam niya, mga ito, mahirap na sila mag-state. Pero yung mga assistant, mga COA na nagkulang ng pag-audit o yung mga staff nila na taga-deliver ng pera o taga-lista, yun, pwede. Yung ganun. Pero yung mga key conspirators, yung mga namumorsyento, entitled, at kung wala sila, hindi nangyari yung krimen, medyo mahirap yan na maging state witness because of the requirement that they should appear to be not one of the most guilty.
Okay. And given that senators and congressmen have already been named, senators by Bryce, congressmen by the Discayas, ano kaya ang kailangang weight of evidence to be able to implicate these individuals or prove that they are somehow linked to this? Kasi yun nga, puro pangalan lamang o pwedeng sabihin na photo, fan photo lamang. At yung mga opisyalis naman, they would say, hindi naman ako nakipagkita dyan. And usually naman, hindi naman ho talaga, diba? Dahil may mga tao po yan sila. So, ano po yung weight of evidence that is required by law to actually have a case here against them?
But let me clarify, Gretchen, na mali yung sinasabi ng marami na there must be direct evidence. That's a lie because criminal cases can be, you can achieve a conviction even with circumstantial evidence. Yung bang hindi diretsong nandun, hindi diretsong narinig, but circumstances that when you connect them together will prove a fact. So, at saka it is foolhardy naman for us to expect na kung tatanggap ang isang senador o ang congressman, ang issue ng resibo. Di ba? Kaya siya mismo, di ba? So, hindi. So, but that's why the details should be revealed by these witnesses because certainly they gave the money or they deposited the check somewhere else. Wala pa yun eh. At sinong tumanggap ng, because you can identify sino ba yung tao na yan and then again prove that this person is in the employ of this congressman, mga ganon. Kasi nga, hindi naman maniniwala ang tao na yung staff lang ang tatanggap niyan at siya ang tumatanggap at siya talaga ang kurakot. Yun, tinatanggap niya for the boss. But these details, kailan yan ginawa, saan, magkano, because these are series. Sabi, ang lalaki, hundreds of millions, billions. So they have to detail. Hindi lang pwede yung mga ballpark figures. And that's very important in criminal cases.
Okay. So, yung text message po sa Viber and pinicturan na disappearing messages, that could be admitted already as evidence. Wala pong issue dyan. Pwede. Qualified po yun.
Yes, that's material, that's relevant. And electronic data now is evidence. Matagal na ho yan. Sa e-commerce law and sa rules of court, kinikilala na yan. Mga video, mga text messages, Viber, Facebook, those could be admissible evidence.
Okay. At this point, ano pong mga kaso kaya ang pwedeng maisampa rito? Doon muna tayo sa account ni Bryce Hernandez. Meron pong mga litrato. Bukod doon sa text message po na yon, meron pong litrato doon nga sa kanilang opisina of heaps, bundles of money. And syempre we have from Senator Ping Lacson yung kanilang pagpasok at labas sa mga kasino. Ano kaya yung mga pwede na sa ngayon na maisampa?
Well, ang pinakamadali would be administrative cases, and that is within the power of the President or the Secretary of DPWH o kaya yung Ombudsman. No? There's more than enough evidence kasi sa administrative cases, para tanggalin yung isang opisyal, ay you don't need proof beyond reasonable doubt, and you don't go to court. It's just an administrative process which by law and its nature is summary. So dapat gawin na nila yon. Pangalawa, pwede na rin silang kasuhan ng mga lesser offenses gaya ng violation of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act or violation of the law and ethical standards for government employees and officials. Kasi yung pagpunta nga sa casino, bawal na yan. So pwede na silang kasuhan ng ganyan. Now, as the investigation goes on and they get more details, then it can go all the way up to plunder kasi malinaw na plunder ito eh. Billions, tens, hundreds of billions plus there's a scheme. Hindi ito yung one time na nakawan, paulit-ulit, and it involves many different parties, the congressmen, the senators, the contractors, DPWH, including COA. So ito yung mga pwede na. No, plunder would be the last. I would understand they're very careful because maraming dinagdag ang judiciary dun sa mga requirements ng plunder. So mag-iingat sila, kailangan kompleto. But it is important that they already filed the admin cases, the criminal cases that are already supported with existing evidence, the documents, and the testimony. Pag-aamin nila, under oath na yung ginagawa nila sa Senado at sa Congress. So pwede na rin magamit yan sa kanila.
Oo. Yung dalawang senador ho na banggit po rito ay pwede na rin bang kasuhan ng plunder?
Sa ngayon, hindi pa eh. Kasi nga, yun, walang detalye eh. At then, biglang kakambyo uli ka agad. Pag nagalit yung senador, privilege speech, kinabukasan, sabi, hindi naman namin sila direktong nakakausap. That's the kind of testimony na iniiwasan natin. So, plunder hindi pa siguro. We understand yung care at saka caution ng DOJ o kaya ng ombudsman kasi mahirap naman yung mag-file ka ng kaso para matalo. Nangyayari din kasi yan. File na lang sila ng kaso para tumahimik ang taong bayan pero alam nila, itong fina-file nila wala namang mangyayari.
Okay, maraming salamat sa iyo for your insights today, for helping us understand the pieces of evidence before us and how we can put them all together. Marami pa po tayong aabangan, it seems. But for now, maraming salamat. We have former IBP President, Attorney Domingo Cayosa.
Maraming salamat. Good morning.
Stay tuned. Morning Matters will be back right after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. Let's move on over to sports. Joining us this morning, we have Coach Javi Nunag, former UAP Commissioner, coach and author of this book, Unseen Wins, for parents and coaches who still believe in doing what is right. We have him on the show. Of course, we do know we've had a lot of success lately in Philippine sports, particularly the latest being Alex Iala.
Yes.
At maaga siya nagsimula sa kanyang sports, guided well by sports people around her. But for you, what is the inspiration for this book? You talk to parents and coaches here and how to guide their kids.
Well, first of all, good morning. Thank you for having me. The inspiration behind this book is the parents who still want to do right when it comes to youth sports, because when you watch a game now, weekend games of kids, there's a constant parent that is nagging their kids, sideline coaching, a parent complaining to the referees, cursing the referees. It's actually a sad state right now, and it's very prevalent not only in our country but all over the world. So I wrote this book to remind people that fun, development, and your relationship with your kid are far more important than a weekend win or a weekend performance.
Ito, address to the stage parents ba to?
Alam mo yan,
Ikaw ba, paano ka lumaki? I mean,
I used
how were your parents?
I used to play high school for San Beda and CSA, and then I played UAP basketball for the UP Fighting Maroons. And after college, I went into coaching in the PBA and in the UAP and NCAA. Ateneo. Used to coach the last 2 years of Kiefer, Ravenna. And then, like you said a while ago, I became the UAP commissioner. So I observed a lot. I observed a lot of things from being a player, to coach, and now the commissioner. I observed how it affects the performance of kids when we put so much pressure, when we put so much emphasis on performance or results rather than development, especially at a young age.
On the other hand, there is that old school approach,
Yes.
now being tough, of wanting to extract the best from your player. Paano mo naman babalansihin na hindi mo rin sila ma-baby? Kasi yun yung term, no?
Correct,
diba?
yes. Pero at an early age, you have, in my book, I said to protect that joy. At an early age, 8 to, let's say, 14 years old, you have to know what joy is when it comes to sports. It is not actually winning. And the study shows that learning from mistakes and doing it again, trying again in a safe environment, and then acquiring a skill, doing that process over again is actually what makes sports fun. It is not winning.
It's the progress.
It's the progress. Di ba pag kunyari nag-video games ang isang bata, nagkakamali sila, tapos nire-reset nila ulit eh. Pero walang nagbabash sa kanila na, eto gawin mo. It's actually that safe space that is missing right now in sports because parents rush to rescue, rush to coach, rush to teach, rush to complain to the referees. Nawawala yung lessons learned ng mga bata.
So ano dapat ganun? Hayaan mo lang, magkamali.
First of all, what I advise parents is to control the urge. Control the urge to coach. Let them struggle. Let them figure it out. Because eventually, those are the lessons that they need to
Even
improve.
for an athlete parent, wouldn't that be incredibly
It would be hard
difficult?
because it is actually, for an athlete parent or for any parent that matter, because it is not their journey, it is the kids' journey. The parents have to be parents. The parents cannot be the
So,
coach.
kailangan primary role yung pagiging
Primary
magulang.
role of a parent is to support. It is unconditional support.
Pero paano kung like katulad ni Coach Norman at si Aaron, ni pangalan nito, Coach Bong, kay Kiefer, paano yung
You said
ganon?
also a while ago, Alex Ayala, I had the privilege to watch that game in the US Open with her parents. The parents was just calm. They were just calm and they were supporting unconditionally. It was the coach who was coaching Alex Ayala. So what I'm saying is that, yes, you can teach your kids. Yes, you can do that. But at the same time, when the kid is playing, when they're playing, it is their coach's job to teach them, to coach them. Your job, your primary job, is unconditional love and support. That's it. You support them no matter what is happening during the game.
But how do you manage giving them real, truthful, constructive feedback?
When it is not during the game, that is the thing. And it's not the car ride after the game as well. Kasi, again, let them struggle. I emphasize in this book that they need to feel the pain. They need to feel that lesson that natalo ako, what did I do wrong? And figuring it out. Because if they can't figure it out, they will ask. They will, and that's the time to teach.
Kapag ka...
Pagka tinanong ka na, hindi yung sa sobrang, let's say for example, you lost the game. Ikaw yung kunyari nagpatalo. You missed the shot, you missed that serve to win the game. There's a lot of emotions going through that child's head. And we remember, we're talking about a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old. Hindi naman to UAP player na medyo mature na. 10 to 12-year-old. She is still figuring out what happened, and then you bombard them. Dapat ito yung ginawa mo, dapat yung serve mo, ganito. Dapat ito yung yung shooting form mo. So, you are actually adding pressure to the kid, and then the kid will say, oh, nagalit si mama, nagalit si dada because I missed that shot. Remember, there is a time of place for everything. And teaching and preaching and making sermons right after the game just confuses and adds pressure to the kid.
What made you write this book? I mean, I love the emphasis on the psychological, mental aspect of it, no? In which I think in our years, if you were coaching during Kiefer's time, medyo ilang taon lang naman yung pagbuhat namin. Hindi pa siya ganun ka-advance yung emphasis on the psychological aspect. What made you, talk about this?
Like I said a while ago, it was the state of youth sports right now. I do have 2 kids. I have a 12-year-old trying to be a basketball player and a 15-year-old trying to be a volleyball player. So every time I watch them, it is actually a constant of parents complaining, cursing at referees, parents sideline coaching. What I mean by sideline coaching is if, for example, there's a timeout, the parents would actually look at the parent first, look at their parents before they go to the coach and their timeout.
Kasi naghahanap ng affirmation.
Naghahanap ng affirmation. At kung hindi sila naghahanap ng affirmation, ang ingay-ingay ng parent na, etong gawin mo. So, hindi niya alam kung saan titingin. So, it is actually a sad state in youth sports right now.
Meron kang nakikitang really good model of how it should be. I mean, anybody in the industry who has been very successful because of the right kind of coaching and parenting.
Parenting side of things, from what I have observed firsthand is Sinabong Ravenna, when Kiefer was still playing, and now the parents of Alex Ayala, Sina Michael Ayala, because they are just there unconditional. Kalmado lang. Because, remember, you know this very well, that in a game, there's a lot of pressure involved. May it be a UAAP game or a weekend game, especially for a kid. A weekend game for a kid is parang finals na yan. It is such a big event for them. A lot of things are happening, a lot of things that they're thinking about. How do I perform in front of people? I don't know the game this much yet. I'm not that good yet, and then you're performing.
Very interesting actually yung Ravenna dynamic kasi hindi lang isang kid eh. Tatlo sila eh.
And they're very successful.
And mahirap yung yung weight of comparison also amongst the kids, the weight of the legacy. And controversy. They have been embroiled in that as well.
Yes.
How did you see the parents react?
Well, I
that?
saw
Behind the scenes,
no, what I saw during the games is Sinabong and then sila Tita Mosi, they made Kiefer 30 figure it out. Remember, when I was coaching, it was the last years of Kiefer, 30 wasn't playing. Bangko si 30 noon. So they were not telling the coaches, oh, papasokin ba naman si 30? Hindi. They made 30 figure out the way how to play, how to get more minutes. Hindi yung ini-impose nila just because they are Bong or Bossy Ravenna na
buti hindi
ilaro mo
nila
yung mga
sinasabi
bata.
na, tinan mo yung kuya mo, ganyan siya, bakit? Walang ganon.
Ayun, so ayun ko sa bahay nila, hindi ko alam. Pero
Akala ko nandun ka.
when I observe them during games, it is their calm and their unconditional support for their kids that help them. Because we know how Kiefer and 30 are. Si Danny is playing well. So it is actually not Bong's and Moses' journey. It was Kiefer's journey, different from 30s and different from Danny, which they respected.
They allow them to shine with their own strengths.
Yes.
Okay, why unseen wins?
Because these are the unseen moments in a game that needs to be learned by parents, not by kids. Because we are talking about, this is the state that I'm talking about, in youth sports, that we are so results oriented. We are so parang panalo. But again, like I said, fun, development, and your relationship with your child are more important than...
Do you think the parenting and the coaching, I mean, do you think that's a make or break for an athlete?
Parenting.
Or parenting, do you think that's a make or break?
It's actually not make or break. It's more of the impact in your relationship.
Mas relationship.
Mas
so marami pa rin
values-oriented.
nagtatagumpay kahit kumbaga parang absent father and mother.
I'll give you an example. For Tiger Woods, he was bombarded. He was really drilled to become a great golfer. But the approach is different for his son. Hindi siya ganun sa anak niya. So there are different aspects. But what I think what Tiger is saying is there is a different strategy when it came to him. Now he is not doing that same strategy to his kid in golf.
And how is that working?
I think it's okay. I think it's okay. But what I'm saying is that I emphasize your relationship with your child because
alagaan mo.
Kasi the pressure that comes along with playing a game, lalo na pag ikaw pa yung magbobombard sa bata, nakakadagdag ng pressure and kawawa rin yung bata.
Oo nga naman.
Alam na alam mo yan.
Alam ko yan. Pero hindi na ako magkakwento. Baka sermonan ako. Okay, where do we buy this book?
It is available in Amazon.com. Locally, it's available now in my website. It's javiernunag.com. I made it especially for this book.
And if they want to contact you for coaching, how do they get in touch?
Instagram and Facebook, I'm there.
Okay. Yeah. Basketball, what else pa do you teach?
Basketball per se, and then also life skills.
Life skills. So if you want to be a better coach, want to be a better parent, then contact Coach Javi Nunag. Maraming salamat for joining us today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On your book.
Thank you.
Good lessons for life that we need to apply, not just in sports, but also in our careers and in our professions. In the meantime, that wraps up today's episode of Morning Matters. We hope we've given you the right start to your morning. Let's go ahead and make the day matter. My name is Gretchen Ho. We are One News, all sides, all the time.